So you've probably heard these terms thrown around: ECS, EKS, Fargate. What on earth are they? And more importantly, which one should you actually be using? Well, you've come to the right place. We're going to break it all down and demystify these powerhouse AWS container services. All right, here's the game plan. First, we'll tackle the why, the big problem that led to containers in the first place. Then, we'll look at the solution itself. From there, we'll jump into the big three from AWS, put them side by side, and wrap up by showing you how this tech is, well, pretty much everywhere. All right, let's kick things off with a problem that, well, if you've ever written a line of code, you have definitely felt this pain. Ah, yes, the 5 most infamous words in software development. This one little phrase is the starting point for just countless headaches, frustrating delays, and marathon debugging sessions. This right here is why containers were invented. So, what's really going on here? Why does this happen all the time? Well, the thing is, the setup on a developer's laptop is basically never a perfect match for the production server. You've got slightly different operating systems, maybe a different version of a key library, unique network settings, and it's all these tiny little differences that can make an app that was running flawlessly on your machine just completely fall apart when it goes live. Okay, so how in the world do we fix this mess? Well, that leads us right to this really elegant solution for making software portable, the perfect little package. And that solution is the container. The best way to think about it is like one of those standardized shipping containers you see on boats and trains, but for code. It's a box that wraps up not just your application's code, but everything it needs to run, all its dependencies. This guarantees that it's going to run the exact same way no matter where you put it. So what exactly are we packing inside this magic box? Well, you've got the application itself, obviously the code that makes it work, and, this is the crucial part, all of its dependencies. We're talking about all the libraries, the specific settings, everything it needs to function. When you bundle all of that together, poof! The "it works on my machine" problem, gone, for good. So now that our app is neatly packed in its container, we can ship it anywhere and it just works. It's fantastic. But what happens when something goes wrong? Because, let's be honest, things always go wrong. I mean, what if the container just crashes? Could be a bug in the code, a memory leak, a random network glitch. Doesn't matter what the cause is. The container fails and boom, your service is offline. And that, my friends, is a very big problem. Okay, but this is where the real magic comes in. With the right tools, we call them orchestration tools, that failure gets detected automatically. And in a split second, a brand new, perfectly healthy, identical container is launched to take its place. This is what we call fault tolerance, and it's a total game changer. Your service stays online, and your users, they have no idea anything even happened. Now, replacing one container is pretty cool, right? But what about modern apps? We're not talking about one container. We're talking about hundreds, sometimes even thousands of them, all running at the same time. Managing all of that by hand? No way. That's where we need some serious help. And that's where AWS steps in, with 3 main services to do the heavy lifting. You've got Amazon ECS, which stands for Elastic Container Service. Then there's Amazon EKS, the Elastic Kubernetes Service. And finally, AWS Fargate. These are the orchestrators, the tools that handle not just replacing failed containers, but a whole lot more. So the big question is, which one should you pick? And really, it all boils down to one central trade-off: control versus convenience. How much do you want to manage yourself versus how much do you just want to hand off to AWS? It's all about picking the right tool for your specific job. Okay, let's look at the 30,000-foot view. It kind of breaks down like this. If you live and breathe AWS and you just want something that works seamlessly with everything else, ECS is probably for you. If your team is already a bunch of Kubernetes pros, or you want the option to run your stuff on other clouds, then EKS is going to be your best bet. And if the idea of never having to manage a server again sounds like a dream come true, then Fargate is what you're looking for. Let's dive a little deeper into each one. First up, we have Amazon ECS. The easiest way to think about this one is as the AWS native option. It's kind of like the easy button for running containers on AWS. The main idea here is something called a task, which is basically the blueprint for your application. Since this is AWS's own system, it's built to integrate perfectly with all their other services, which makes it a super powerful but also really straightforward choice if you're all in on the AWS world. All right, next up is Amazon EKS, and EKS is all about one thing: Kubernetes. Kubernetes is the open source industry standard king of container orchestration. Now, the key thing here is that AWS manages the really complicated part, the control plane, which is like the brain of the whole system. You're still responsible for managing your servers, which are called nodes, and the pods that run your containers on them. So you get all the power and flexibility of the huge Kubernetes community, but you don't have the massive headache of managing the most complex bits yourself.
And that brings us to Fargate. And honestly, Fargate just changes the entire conversation. You can think of it as a serverless engine that you can use with either ECS or EKS. That big X over the server icons, that says it all. With Fargate, you forget about servers. You don't pick them, you don't patch them, you don't manage them at all. You literally just hand AWS your container and say, "Here, run this for me." It is the absolute peak of convenience, letting you focus 100% on your code and 0% on the plumbing.
Okay, I know this can all sound a little abstract. Tasks, pods, control planes, but the reality is you are using this stuff constantly, every single day, probably without even thinking about it. Let's take a look at where this technology is hiding in plain sight. Seriously, think about your day. That app you logged into this morning, the thing you just bought online, that package you're tracking. It is almost a guarantee that containers are running the show behind the scenes. This is the tech that lets those services scale up to handle millions of people, process your payments securely, and pretty much never go down. So here's the bottom line. Containers have completely revolutionized how we build and deploy software. They've unlocked a level of reliability and scale that was just unimaginable before. And now, with things like Fargate pushing the serverless idea even further, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are we heading towards a future where the whole idea of a server just fades away?